So, a week and a half ago, ladies and gentlemen, I made a video discussing Clementine's cut return to her house in the final season. She was supposed to return, and it was cut fairly early on in the final season. But that wasn't our only Clementine house flashback / cut return. In The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, we knew there were Clementine flashbacks. She had one in every episode except the 5th episode. A lot of people had wondered why there wasn't a flashback in the 5th episode. And it ended up being this idea that I'm going to be discussing in this video. This was supposed to be the episode 5 flashback, and I'm going to be showing videos, screenshots, and stuff from the Definitive Edition that proves this. So, in the Definitive Edition, in the New Frontier category in the art gallery, we have an image that states Clementine's house interior, which shows a picture of Clementine's house. We obviously know in the New Frontier we did not get any return flashback to Clementine's house, so this further proves the point that this was the scrapped episode 5 flashback. Now, what we could see is this is not like the one in the final season where it shows Clementine actually returning to her house with it being, aged, disheveled, and old, broken. This actually was before Lee had returned. This was planned to be even before Lee had showed up to this house a couple days after the events happened with Ed and Diana leaving and Sandra obviously dying. So this ended up being where Clementine would interact with Sandra, little dialogue and stuff based on their introduction, and we'd end up seeing Sandra die, become a walker in essence, and probably have to see maybe Clementine escape to her treehouse. And there were lots of stuff that backs this up. So this would have been interesting to see in a New Frontier graphics, though, because honestly we know they were a lot different than what the final season had pictured up. So I honestly don't know why they got rid of this again, because again, a big complaint with me in A New Frontier was that A New Frontier episodes were extremely short. I can't see why they couldn't have put a Clementine flashback in episode 5. But, hey, let's discuss this topic now. So this was an interview with Melissa Hutchinson, the voice actor of Clementine during A New Frontier, and this discussed why there wasn't a lot of Clementine, the cut content in essence that we had discussed that backs up this, episode 5 scrap flashback. And basically it started off, there's not enough Clementine. She said, I agree. And then she ends up saying, I was sad when the first episode ended. I was like, what the blank? Really? That was so short. And again, my backing up of why the episode's really short, I liked the pace. I thought it was a really good pace, but I was like, oh, it took only an hour to play through the first episode. And this is when Telltale, you really started to see rock bottom started to hit. They were rushing out many games. It didn't really look good for Telltale at this time. Considering each episode of season 2 is about an hour and a half or 2 hours, so I have to admit I was a little, And you start to see that she was even frustrated. Yeah, they did that. Well, there was so much rewriting in these episodes where I didn't know what was going to be left in them and what wasn't. They were going in a totally different direction with, episodes, basically talking about episodes 1 and 2. And basically said there was a kind of Carver-esque character, and it's kind of a bummer. So originally in The Walking Dead: New Frontier, we were going into more cut content. There was supposed to be a main antagonist that was scrapped from the game that she said was kind of like Carver. And it's kind of a bummer because there were some really awesome recordings of that. And then the backstory of me and AJ getting separated, there was some legitimate, awesome emotional scenes, which I'm sure got cut. And then she's like, damn it, Telltale, why do you get rid of the good blank, blank, blank? Also, is this character Ava? They asked, and that wasn't, no, it was not. So that was from an interview. That really talked about the frustrations with the New Frontier and its cut content. And this ended up being art that they had drawn up for this Clementine flashback, season 3, episode 5. It showed Clementine's kitchen here, and it's all clean and tidy. So this was right before the stuff happened with Sandra and the blood on the ground and all that. And this looks pretty nice. Based on a concept art image, this looks pretty good. I don't know how it exactly would look, since again, New Frontier was synonymous with having oversaturated, oily graphics. But I really did like the look that they had tried to show with this. Again, all this cut content, man. It really made a New Frontier. New Frontier could have been such a different game. Basically, with me hearing all this stuff. So the wiki had found some info on this too. Originally, Sandra was going to make an appearance in a flashback in Season 3 to when the outbreak started, which would depict how she was killed by a walker. In this video, I'm going to give a shout out to Megan Me. I've given her a shout before when I talked about some other content with the ranch and, you know, basically Season 4, Episode 1. She ended up finding unused audio files from this. So I'm going to throw a link to her channel in the video down below in the description. Make sure to go check it out. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to be showing here that supports this unused image in the definitive edition. So again, a big thank you to Meg and me for that. That basically was a bunch of sound files that had confirmed that there was a scrapped Sandra flashback in Season 3, Episode 5. Again, I'll throw a link to that down below in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to her. Credit to her for all that footage and her editing there. Well done, made video. So, again, guys, what do you think of this scrap Clementine Season 3, Episode 5 flashback? Would you want to see more of it? Do you think they should have had it, or were you happy with how Episode 5 was? I'm pretty sure many of you aren't, so leave it down below in the comments, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Until then, guys, peace.
If I had a dime for the days I've spent just trying to unwind.